The kiwifruit industry has won part of its case against the government over the spread of the vine-killing disease PSA. Growers went to court seeking at least $400 million, alleging negligence by the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, a forerunner, of course, for what's now known as MPI, the Ministry for Primary Industries. This stemmed from the importation of pollen from China in 2009. Our Waikato Bay of Plenty reporter Andrew McRae was at the announcement in Te Puke today.
In her judgment, Justice Mellon said the ministry owed a duty of care to kiwifruit growers. It had responsibility for controlling what goods could be imported into New Zealand, and the risks of contamination should have been obvious. Grower Craig Jeffries has been in the industry for over 30 years, and the discovery of PSA changed his life.
I lost a big orchard through this, and had to go out and find work and scrimp and save and make ends meet, that sort of thing, to get through. And it's been a hard 10 years.
Another long-time kiwifruit grower, Alistair Rees, remembers all too well hearing the news that his orchard had PSA.
Sock in the stomach, saying, oh dear. And then in the first instance, I guess we all had a hope that we might be able to combat it, but that was pretty quickly dashed. And then the chainsaws came in, and just listening day after day to the we're not through this crisis yet, but we're probably through the most painful part of it.
The devastating news that PSA had struck hit grower Mike Montgomery hard.
Our equity had vanished, the properties were valueless. We had no option but to carry on and work out how to get through this. Yes, we managed to do that, so we're one of the lucky ones.
How hard did it get though?
You were living month to month at any point in time.
And Mike Montgomery says there was very little sympathy from certain banks.
So I think they may have all had the same attitude, but depending on your client status, you go from hero to zero quite quickly in that regard. So if you owed them money, you were on a watch list, and they were pretty tough on you.
They'll be queuing up now though, maybe?
That is the nature of banks, yes.
212 growers took part in the class action, and not surprisingly, they're overjoyed by the court decision. Craig Jeffries says it comes as a huge relief.
It's vindication for the work these people have done, under our name, and it's acknowledgement of something that we knew existed, and it's long overdue.
Alistair Rees says compensation can't make good the years of stress and heartache.
Nothing replaces that, but the compensation would certainly be helpful.
Growers will now be on tenterhooks as the government weighs up its option to fight the decision or not. Grant Einan, who's a member of the Kiwifruit Claim Committee, says it would be wrong for an appeal to be lodged.
This isn't a floodgate case. This doesn't open the floodgates. This is very specific to 3 or 4 failures by MPI not carrying out their duties properly. And this is really about making them accountable to start doing their job.
The government's yet to decide, and it has 20 days to do so. Acting Prime Minister Winston Peters was quick to lay the blame.
Well, my reaction is to look at the party that was in government at the time and ask how come they allowed that to happen, and a further 172 biosecurity breaches in their time of administration. Have a good hard look at them. It's going to cost us a packet, potentially, and that's a judgment yet to be made by the court.
The kiwifruit growers' lawyers will now digest the judgment and prepare for either an appeal or a hearing to determine the amount of damages they'll seek. They say it could be in the area of $500 million. The Ministry for Primary Industries says it will study the 500-plus page judgment before making any comment. In Te Puke for Checkpoint, ko Andrew McRae tēnei.